Hey everybody, this is Perch, and it's a day ending in the letter Y, so it's time for another day where people are pissed about DC's media universe as contrived and managed by the Warner Media Company. In this case, James Gunn, who has gone from being kind of the cool director that we liked, who did quirky stuff in the MCU and maybe had some weird comments he made online a long time ago that couldn't get him canceled, but hey, who isn't up for second chances? So let's bring him back. And he's pretty cool. That Peacemaker show was nifty. And hey, he can helm DC and fuck that guy because he hasn't hired Henry Cavill. I think that just about covers it. Anyway, somewhere, somehow, a rumor got started that DC was going to shut down in June of 2020. No, sorry, different rumor that Henry Cavill has been offered a role in the DC universe as Frankenstein. And this is for the DC Creature Commandos series. It will be part of HBO Max. And so, again, who knows where this rumor got started, how it got started, but the story was broken. I don't know if originally or where, from koimoy.com, a site I have never heard of in my fucking life, but here it is. Anyway, Henry Cavill was actually. This was the trick. It was actually Harry Cavill, a lesser known Cavill. He lives in Idaho. No, sorry. Henry Cavill was approached to play Frankenstein in the DCU as a way to forget Superman. Which, just let's pause there for a moment. You're an actor and you're hired to play the number two. Let's be honest. Batman's a number one, but the number two hero in all of DC. You have a strong online following. People like you. You kind of won people over. Even people who were, upset with the Zack Snyder kind of dark and gritty DC still liked you as Superman. And then you were kind of unceremoniously said, no, we're not going to continue with you after they brought you in to film a little post-credit scene in Black Adam. And, the way that we're going to make that right, the way that we're going to get you to kind of forget about, kind of the snub there, is that we're going to ask you to play Frankenstein in an HBO Max series called Creature Commandos. Yeah, that checks out, right? That completely checks out. Anyway, a Twitter user asked James Gunn if this was true, that Henry Cavill was going to play Frankenstein. James Gunn said, completely false. We have our Frankenstein, our first choice, and it's not Henry. Was never discussed with him. I've said in the past we've discussed other roles with Henry. Just Frankenstein is not one of them. So, sorry, Henry Cavill, you're not going to be playing Frankenstein. And, I'm speculating here, but I'm pretty sure that James Gunn, if he has talked to Henry Cavill, it's about some multiversal bullshit of a Kingdom Come Superman or a Superman for another dimension that gets to come in and pass the torch to a younger, sexier, likely bisexual, I'm just throwing that last bit in. Superman that will be the new face of DC Universe. Anyway, this is, I think, all part of a campaign to make Gunn as unlikable as possible. And here's my question for you, and I'm being serious with this for just a moment. I get the idea, you're Hollywood, you can't be a slave to what Twitter wants. You can't just do everything the fans ask you to do. That would be madness. I mean, why would you want to do something like that? But on some level, unless there's a big financial component, meaning Henry Cavill is coming in, he's basically saying, look, I'm going to need, $1 billion per movie. Then of course you can't do that. If I'm James Gunn or if I'm Warner Media, DC Studios, I would narc on him immediately. I'd come out and go, I'd love to have Henry Cavill, but the asshole's holding us up for a bunch of money. And that's not what's happening. So on some level, if you're trying to make $1 billion, you're trying to really go with your studio, why are you fighting this? I think that a lot of the Snyder Cut people and the Snyder Bros or Zack Snyder fans, others who were really kind of pushing for the Snyderverse to continue and all this other kind of stuff, there's a harder argument to be made there, because reality is Justice League didn't do amazing as a movie. Now, granted, Joss Whedon came in to fuck it all up, but still, the Zack Snyder DC movies didn't exactly kind of burn the house down in terms of box office receipts. They made money. I'm not knocking them, and you may love them, and that's fine. But, it wasn't like you had mass support. You had a lot of people who liked the Snyder movies. You had a lot of people who didn't like it, and it really wasn't moving the needle. So if you're Warner Media and you see a lot of people saying, "Hey, we want more Zack Snyder movies." Yeah, there is a, that's a harder decision to make because there are other factors there. But in the case of Henry Cavill, on some level, you're James Gunn, you're Warner Media. Again, unless there's a financial component, don't you look at this whole thing and go, "Yeah, we should probably continue with this guy. He has pretty mass support. Lots of people like him. We can go with some younger unknown actor, but you think about it, with all the support that Henry Cavill has given, and people do seem to be on his side more. Why in the world would we, basically whoever we put in that role has got a huge uphill battle now. I mean, let's say they cast somebody amazing to be in that role. It's still going to be really, really hard, like incredibly hard to have, that person's going to have to work. As good as that person is, that person's got to get over the hump of basically all these people saying they like Henry and feeling that Henry was snubbed here. So it feels like on some level, if you're James Gunn, you should go, why am I making life so difficult for myself? Let's just cast the guy. I mean, Christ, it was Henry Cavill super hard to work with. I know there's these online reports that he said things that were not, he was anti-woke culture on the set of The Witcher, maybe. It feels like that got overblown a little bit. But suck it up and just go with easy. Look, my message to DC Film and Warner Media and Gunn and everything else is you're fighting an uphill battle right now. You are not on top. Marvel is kicking your ass all over the place, and you can't seem to get a decent movie strategy that dates all the way back to when you had Deadpool playing your Green Lantern. You just can't seem to get out of your own way. The Nolan Batman movies did great, but everything else has been a struggle. So, you put some movies out, you had some modest successes. Henry Cavill is one of those. Why in the world are we choosing to make life hard for ourselves? Just go with it. Gunn also went on to say that less than half of DCU Chapter 1 has been announced. There's tons more movies. Now, remember, he did the Superman Legacy, the Supergirl, the new Batman movie, Brave and the Bold, Swamp Thing, The Authority, Paradise Lost, Booster Gold, Creature Commandos, Waller, and Lanterns. And he said that less than half of the movies. So if we're going for what else is coming, it means that there's at least 10 more films or more, 12 more films that are coming. And so we all kind of assume there's another Aquaman movie in there. They're saying that the Flash is really important to the whole thing. So maybe that means there's another Flash movie in the mix. You got to assume they're doing something with Wonder Woman at some point. But beyond the super weird Paradise Lost HBO Max, let's try and recreate the magic of Game of Thrones thing. But overall, my question is this. I understand people are prideful. I understand they want to make their own mark. But if you're a major film studio and you're investing lots and lots of money, hundreds of millions of dollars in promoting a film, at some point, no matter how creatively, up your own ass you are, you have to start making life easy for yourself. And this seems like a good place to do that. Make life easy for yourself. Stop trying to climb this uphill battle, and instead just give the fans a little bit of what they want. I know subverting expectations is cool. I know that if lots of people clamor for it, you shouldn't do it. But, that Sonic movie seemed like they made a good choice by changing the CGI, and it seemed to work out pretty well for itself in the box office as a result. Do you think this might be one of those cases where swallowing your pride a little bit and having the guy who everybody loves as Superman just play Superman might be a good plan? Oh, he's a little older. Gee, it's if only we didn't have a movie filled with special effects. You can't work with that one. You got to go for a younger Superman. Well, can you imagine Henry Cavill in the All-Star Superman series? It would work. It would work. Keep in mind, I'm not the purist here. I'm not sitting here going, oh my God, it's got to be him or nobody. I'm just saying, take the easy road once in a while. You don't have to fight what the fans want every turn you go. Take the money. Run. It's not a bad plan. Anyway, thanks for listening.